need to talk about when we're talking about our fundamentals is transitional flow. What we try to do is we want to make the technique work, but just like any other technique, one technique might work, it might not work. You know, if we're talking about striking, I try to throw a hook punch, Josh defends the hook punch, right? Well, I wouldn't stand there and still keep trying to attempt that hook punch until I finally hit him. With locking, it's the same thing, all right? We want to try to avoid that tunnel vision to say, I got to get that lock, I got to get that lock. What's going to happen is, unfortunately, if you get that tunnel vision, you're really staring at that lock trying to get it, well, you're forgetting about everything else going on, which leaves you more vulnerable to a counterattack. And also, the lock's probably not going to be effective anyhow. Okay, so what we have to try to do is sort of like a catch and release. If generally when I'm trying to attempt a lock, I'm giving it about 60, maximum 60-70% of my energy. If more than that, I feel like I might be forcing the lock. So if it's not there, I release it and we're going to transition into something else. So an example of transitional flow would be, I might come in here, I might be floating for an elbow strike and I'm attempting this lock. If he starts to defend that lock, any way he does, in this case he's kind of pushing me, I might transition into, say, an arm bar. From there to get him a little lower, right, I might come here, arm bar here, and start to draw him a little bit lower. I might attempt a finger lock. Okay, as he goes to grab, I'll lock him this way. Okay, now also be aware, although we're talking about how to seize and control, there are striking applications too. Locking isn't just used to attack a joint. Okay, we can restrain, we can incapacitate, and it could also be used just to manipulate the person into a better position to allow you to strike. For example, you know, he goes to attack at me, boom, I might come in here, I might attempt what we would call a reverse finger lock for the sole purpose of opening up a point here we call triple warmer 17 below the ear. That might be a great opportunity for me to end the attack right there. So it's not just to manipulate, control, or restrain. It can also be used as a setup for subsequent striking applications as well. Okay? So remember, stick, don't stay, transition from one technique to the other. This tape is going to give you a variety of different locks. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to go from one lock to the other lock to the other lock, just so that you don't get so stuck on, you got to get that one lock. Okay? Remember to transition. Okay, some examples of transition. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of flow here. All right, I'll try wrist lock. One of the things when we transition, one of the things that we need to do is, as we transition, we can't lighten up on the lock. For example, I can't just come from here and let things go and then come to here and here. Okay, what I need to do is I have to make it hurt. So in the process, as I do this outward wrist lock called a kotegashi, all right, and I'm going to give you some more detail about it, especially how to deal with this shoulder, okay, how to take that shoulder out of commission, but we're going to talk about that and not to feed that shoulder. But when I transition, I'm going to come here, and just like when we're screwing with a screwdriver, we'll kind of wind our wrist. When I come here, I'm going to wind my wrist so I can collect the fingers, and I'm going to make it hurt before I even attempt the second lock. Okay? From here, I might reach underneath it, take him around, and transition him into, say, a come along to take him out the door. All right? If he gets fresh and reaches for me, boom, I may attempt a arm bar here. All right? But eventually you'll be able to flow. As he reaches to counterattack me, boom, we can flow from here. Boom. Okay? Whatever's there, boom. Sort of a catch and release. Boom.